Hello, this is Nicole Austin with another Creative Team post, and I'm here to show you how to create this journal page. First, you're going to start off with a stencil and the Distress Resist spray. Now, sometimes you might have trouble getting it out of the spray nozzle, so sometimes I'll put it into a smaller mini mister, or I'll use a makeup sponge to kind of move the resist ink around. It's kind of hard to see at this point, but I'm just spraying through the stencil, and I'm also turning the stencil over and printing whatever resist ink is on the other side. I'm sorry, not ink, but the resist spray. And I don't clean my stencils, so you'll see a lot of residue ink coming out from other projects, and I actually like the look of that, so I just keep it. You can also add the resist spray directly to the page and let it drip down, and that creates some really nice drips as well. So you're going to let that dry, and then you're going to add some acrylic drops with the liquid acrylic, and I've just used a few of my favorite colors, and just take the dropper and just kind of gently drop little bits all over. And this doesn't have to dry in between colors, just let it drip and drop all over the page. Now when that is completely dry, you're going to take the Mr. Huey's spray, or whatever permanent spray you have, and spray that over everything, and as you wipe away with the baby wipe, you'll see the resist where the Distress Resist has gone through the stencil, or where I've sprayed with to make the drips. You'll see that underneath the ink color. So it's just really fun. It's my favorite part in this whole process, is seeing the resist come through the ink. The more you wipe away, you'll see with the baby wipe, the more you wipe away the ink that's on top of the resist, you want to get as much of that off as possible, because that's just going to bead up on the surface and get all over the place. So use the baby wipes, use a lot of them, and just continue to keep kind of gently scrubbing away. Don't scrub too hard on the paper, because then you will get the spray ink off the paper, and you kind of want that on there. So then you're going to add the golden fluid acrylic around the border, and I'm using a dark brown here. It's just a really nice color to sort of frame that nice golden ink color. And you're going to take your baby wipe again and just rub it around the edges, and just keep continuing to do that until you have a nice kind of darkened frame around the edges. And you can also see where that darker brown makes those leaves pop up really nice. And then you can also just put a little bit at the top and use a like a spray bottle with water, and just spray to make some drips come down, and blend again with the baby wipe. And also, as you wipe with the baby wipe, you'll also notice that the spray, the acrylic ink, you'll also be able to see those drips as well. Then you're going to go with your stencil and the golden fluid acrylic, and just dab gently with a makeup sponge, and just create kind of a frame of leaves around the entire page. And I like the way that looks. It's just really nice. Kind of frames, creates a really nice frame for your focal point, or your words, which we'll be stamping at the end. And I like using the makeup sponge because it's just a really nice way to add clear and crisp images through your stencils. And now I'm just taking some old scrapbook paper I had that had these really neat looking antique butterflies, and it's just a real nice neutral color. You can color them in if you want, or you can leave them plain. You can really use anything. You can go with the sort of neutral theme, or you can bring some of the colors in the background out. I decided just to keep it neutral, sort of challenging myself. Usually I like to use really bright colors, so this was a really nice change for me. And I'm just, after I've carefully cut them all out, I'm just going over each of the pieces with some Mod Podge. I'm just applying it on the back with my finger. You can also use a brush if you want. And then just placing it down, and then also going over the top with another light coat of the Mod Podge, and just kind of helps press those air bubbles out, and it just makes it adhere really nicely as well. And then I'm just going over very lightly, it's really hard to see, but I'm just going over really lightly with the golden fluid acrylic in kind of a blue color with the script stamp, and then also using that with the numbers stencil, and just to get a little bit more to the background. And then I'm just going to stamp my sentiment that I want. You can do a quote, you can do words, you can do whatever you like at this point. I chose Embrace the Journey, and I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial this week, and I'd love to see what you have to create. Thanks again.